I could be holding up cards, be like,
Who knows? I figured you weren't recording, so I wasn't 100% sure.
I could just be holding up cards and just be like,
like,
I got some good for you.
you got some good?
I got the good.
What's that good?
I got the good.
Yeah.
You know
What'd you do over the weekend?
You know what gives her a lot of dopamine?
What?
Video games.
But not a certain video game anymore.
No, but there's other types of video games that give a lot of dopamine.
Yeah. Which video game?
I downloaded Guild Wars 2.
Yes. An MMO if I'm
Yes, correct. Yes, MMOs are fairly addicting as well. They're not I shouldn't be around MMOs or at MOBAs. They should not be in my repertoire.
I feel like there's something like there's a type of gamer that like likes it when they're just given something to like sink time into, and that's like MMOs and MOBAs are both that like you have to sink in time to have fun. And
to be fair, I was having fun not sinking a lot of time into it. I've heard good things about Guild Wars 2, and that's why I went with it, because a lot of people say it has a lot of horizontal progress, whereas essentially means you don't have to like constantly play in the game to keep up and stuff like that. But I don't know how true that is yet, because I'm not at endgame. But I am having a blast just leveling a Guardian right now. And the way I look at it right now is like I'm not competing with anyone. I'm not playing with any friends or anything either, so I don't have anybody to keep up with. I'm not in a guild.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just,
yeah.
I don't care how long it takes. Like everyone's like, well, you get to level 80. Now what? Now you're at endgame. You got to do all this stuff. I'm like, dude, I'm not even worried about that. I'm like, level 25 right now. I'm just going around exploring stuff, taking my time. It's been pretty fun. And I'm just going to keep it at that pace. If I ever start noticing I need to like play like every day kind of thing, then I'll be like, okay, time to.
That's fair. As like
video game addiction is real, kids. Don't watch out.
As we've talked about in previous podcasts as well, like I've quit League mostly. Like I still play a few games, but my goal has been to not do the like not daily play the game, not have any of those days where I just play 10 games of League and that's it. So those, I know you and I both were in that boat for a while, and you're trying to get out of that. I'm trying to get out of that. And it's just it's nice to have more time to do things.
It's refreshing to actually
to relax. Yeah.
And I think the big point too is like League can be stressful. Like if you take it too serious, that game is still stressful. It's very high stress. And like Guild Wars 2, and honestly most MMOs, if you play pretty casually, not stressful at all. Most of them are pretty easy for the most part. Like the mechanics aren't hard, and it's all PvE stuff. So it's like
there's a lot of things you could control in your life to like de-stress, to like not add extra stress. Some things that you don't think about with that. So it's nice to take that stuff away and have some more relaxing things that help you. So that's good. That's cool though. I've never personally played Guild Wars. I've played some MMOs and I just can't get behind any of them. I don't know what it is. I like time sinking games, but MMOs for me specifically, I just can't do. Survival crafting is kind of where I go with that.
That's very fair.
Very cool.
I think MMOs are definitely a special type of person. Takes a special type of person to do it. Because like a lot of times, there's never like any one thing that's specifically fun about an MMO. It's almost the conglomeration of the entire game that makes it fun in a way. After you get this part, you have to learn this thing and this thing and that thing, and then eventually it all comes together into this thing of like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah, and that's one thing too that I've never gotten like fully into one like leveled up, and I know like
it takes time. That's the other thing is like a lot of MMOs just have a huge barrier entry because there's so much to learn. You have to get in like there's so many systems to learn, and that's really the big part of it. Yeah.
You know, speaking of like leveling up and going into leveling up, like that, you know, when you leveling up is like another kind of like a word for like a bracket. You know, and that's something brackets? We're talking about coming back here now, and we're going back, kind of revisiting something that we talked about just a bit ago, talking about bracket systems. Now, last time we talked about it,
we talked about bracket systems. What do you think these two cards go into the brackets? Which one do you think? You know, is this lower than this one? Is this one a little better? Just a little bit. A little better. But I mean, I could also have both of these in the same bracket.
You could, yeah. Weird.
Sorry, continue.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would.
No, yeah. So last time we talked to you guys, we talked about the bracket system itself and why it shouldn't be like an end all be all, and like the reasons to make it so that you like you're making sure you're following the bracket, but some of the problems with it and some of the ways that it like just doesn't actually answer the questions it's trying to do and what it's bad at in doing that job, right? So the whole reason it's there is to help people like define where their decks are and have everybody have a good like time playing the game and playing around like it's there for balance. You're playing around a balanced level. It's not that good at that because it doesn't really define those levels very well. So you can listen to our last episode if you want to check that out and see. But this week we're going to go into some more solutions for it, some ways to make like a bracket system like better, like ways to define better ways to define it, better ways to define cards, like other things going through that. So yeah.
I think that's a good point to bring up too, just because like, yeah, I think that everyone is kind of struggling with the brackets a little bit, and people don't exactly know how to use them very well. And I think that's something maybe Wizards of the Coast could do a little bit better.
Yeah, it is still in beta at the time of recording. Be really funny if it wasn't by the time this gets out, but it should be in beta at the time of recording because it's been a while, so it should be in beta still, and it's just one of those things where this is supposed to help it. This is what they want. They want people to kind of critique the system, go through it, make changes to it. Like this is a big community. We should all bring our ideas together to try and make this system better if we don't like it. So yeah, I think there's enough people upset about the brackets, and I think a lot of their reasons are valid. So yeah, do you have any ideas? Do you have any thoughts?
Any thoughts comments on like how system? To on the bracket system?
Yeah, I don't what like do you think is a better way?
I don't like the bracket system.
Too many ways to make it better, I guess, is to what make I'm going
it better.
For.
So I think maybe we could start with like defining like some of the bracket, and then we can, because that'll help us like break it up a little bit. And because like I do think it needs broken up. Like that's kind of, I guess, how I would probably do it. It's like I think there's too much gray area in between 3, 4, and 5, and that's kind of where everybody kind of gets confused. I think if you're in a bracket 1 deck, or even in bracket 2, usually is like precon, where people are playing precons. People aren't really confused about that, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like those are fairly obvious when you're playing in those levels, but
yes, and I'd like to
add and
this. I hate that.
That's a strong word.
Yes, hate is a strong word. I hate that the precons are a bracket because I think precons vary in strength so much. And I get it that it's supposed to be like the average, and maybe there is an average strength for it, but I just don't think that it should be its own thing. Because first of all, just this is a side tangent a little bit, but like it could be a tool to like you could release, oh, this is a bracket 1 precon deck. This is a bracket 2 precon deck. And Wizards, this is a way to make more money. Dude. You could sell a a bracket 4 precon deck for way more money than you could sell a bracket 2 precon.
A premium. Like, it would just be a premium, you know? It would be a good reason to actually like make a little more money by actually making a really strong deck out of the box. Now, that'd be cool. I would buy that.
I would love to see stronger precons too. I think that strong precons are actually really healthy for the community because they give like that like level. Like they're like when you're buying stuff out of the box. I like personally, I just don't really buy precons that much because I don't like the way they function. I understand where they are, but I don't get too much enjoyment out of getting one and upgrading one. Whereas like if I were to be able to buy a precon that was able to slot into like a high 3 or like a 4 deck, that would be really nice. But all right, either way, side tangent.
Well, side tangent's fine. I think that kind of goes into what our qualms about this. And I don't, you know what? I don't think we have to define the brackets. I mean, they've been out 5, 6 months. It's fine. Everybody has seen it. Yeah, you know what the brackets are. Well, you know, bracket 1's casual, really, you know, noob friendly, and then you got 2 with like the precons. Then the 3 is like upgraded precons. People think like, oh, I'm just swapping out like 5 cards or 5 or 10 cards. 4 is like, you know, go wild, and 5 is
optimized.
CDH. Yeah, 4 is optimized. Whatever that's supposed to mean, right? So
now let's check the tangent.
Back to the tangent.
Back to the tangent.
Now that we're off topic.
Yes. Precons being one bracket, I think, is a horrible idea. Not only for that, where I do think it would be a very, very cool idea to be releasing decks that are in different brackets. I think that is a great way to advertise the bracket system, first of all. And just a way to define it more too. Like you can compare your deck to decks in the bracket system that are officially released that is an easy way to compare and contrast and like see what level your decks are at. So that is just one of those things where I just don't like it, because I think that you could do it way better if you don't limit them to one bracket.
Yeah, I agree, because there's also like, so like they're already, the precons are varying levels. You know, there's some precons that are better than others already out of the box. So it's weird to put them all in one bracket.
Yeah,
and also like like one comment on the bracket 2, like where it says few tutors, it also has that in Expedition 1 as well. So like it's also weird that like the bracket 1 even lets you have a few tutors, which is like a weird thing, because like some people hate tutors, right? There's some people that like despise seeing you play tutors in a deck, and then like you're gonna go in Expedition 1 and play some tutors, and then people are like, aren't we playing bracket 1? Like that's a pretty weird definition. And like, what does that even mean, a few tutors? Like, does it mean like you're allowed to play Evolving Wilds and Terramorphic Expanse and that's it? Like,
yeah. Can you not play fetch lands but just those ones? Yeah. No, I mean, so okay, this video is quickly turning into a tangent on just why I hate every bracket, every bracket specifically, because but I'm also so down for it, because I have another reason why I hate bracket 1, which is like, so to go off of like your like the few tutors and everything like that, I don't know, it's just bracket 1 is so like, it's not like a real deck in my opinion. Like I feel like any deck that I've ever built, I had a rock throwing deck where it was based around just like Tago and Ictkick, I think is the like name. I'm probably pronouncing wrong, but it was like a golem. So they were partner commanders. It threw rocks. It was funny because it just made a bunch of rocks and threw a bunch of rocks. When I consider that lower than precons, no, I think I made it good enough that it was at least at the level of precons. I think it was probably a power 3 deck at the end point before I took it apart. It couldn't get any stronger than that, but I mean, it was still decent.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things where
could it win against Edgar Markov? I don't think so.
No, that's the dumb part about 2. But that's the dumb part about bracket 2, is that like those decks are different, which I get. They said like it's average, current average commander precons. So yes. Edgar Markov argument is out the window. We can't use that because of that specific quote, unfortunately.
So how would you make the bracket 1 better then?
I would almost say that it would be like experimental. I would like to see it be something where you're like, this is where you're like testing decks that are like, it's not like ready yet. It's not functioning. It's not a functioning deck. It is just something that is like, you're testing the deck. You're seeing how it works. But
trying to spin the wheels, essentially. It's like you've got the frame of the car going, you got the tires on there, but like you don't necessarily know how to turn the engine on yet.
Yeah. And I don't think there's a like some people might argue with that. It was like, would you say you have an experimental tier 4 deck and you could play it at tier 1 and play it with like tier 2s and other things? And I think honestly, yeah, because if you have an experimental tier 4 deck that's not tuned yet, I mean, for example, I have a combo deck and I just built it. It's absolutely not tier 4 yet. And I was saying this, I had in the last episode, was playing it over the weekend that time, and it just got like stomped because I didn't have enough interactions with everything, and it was not functioning well. I wasn't able to get to my combo as fast as I thought I could.
Right.
It was beat by tier 2 and tier 3 decks very easily. So
I feel
it's one of those things where
the same with the deck I was talking about, the Simic Value deck that I have. It's technically a bracket 4 deck because it has 6 game changers, but honestly, I have no idea how it wins. I don't know what what the game plan even is besides just playing valuable spells. It probably would lose at most tier like bracket 2 and 3 tables actually, because it's not a function. It's not like a very coherent game plan yet. So
yeah, so that's like I personally I would be fine if the bracket 1, like I think it needs to exist because I think in my perfect world, I think you redefine it so that precons are not a bracket. And if precons are not a bracket, you still need brackets like 1, 2, and 3, right? Like you need to get there without having precons be the defined brackets. I do think you could say the weakest precons that exist could be tier 1. I think that could be a fine base. I think you could actually go through and look at the precons that have been created and make a rating system based on the precons.
You probably could actually, yeah.
And I think that would be a fine way to do it because you'd have a lot of examples, and you might even be able to find definitions by looking through those.
It's not a bad idea because they're also very strong. There's some pretty strong precons that might actually make their way into like the bottom of bracket 4 if you were just even switch out like 5 cards.
Yeah, I very much agree. And some current ones too. Like it's not like we play against our friends. What is that? Lord of Pain deck?
Yeah, the Valgavoth guy.
Yeah, that holds up with our with our bracket that plays like tier 3, tier 4. Like it holds up in the games.
Yeah, which is crazy. He's won a couple too with it. So
yeah, absolutely. And he's almost always a threat. Like he's doing stuff in every single game. Yeah. So it's just that's one of my biggest gripes with this bracket system itself is precons should not be in one bracket. Precons vary so much. And I think that's an idea to improve the system is actually take the time, try to analyze those other precons, see if you can actually come up with a scale through those. I think that would actually be a fun experiment to do that. I probably don't have the will to go through and do that, but it would be a really neat thing. So I would love to do that. But yeah, I think that's a good way to use it. If you use precons as a grading tool, you could actually set up a system that will function and define decks way better than what exists today.
I could see that. Yeah. So into like the 3, 4, 5 area, because I think that's where it gets really confusing.
Fair. Yeah.
I think that's where a lot of the people like it, almost like you were talking about the last episode where we're mentioning how it used to be discussion of like everybody's a 7, and now it's like everybody's just a 3 or 4. Mm-hmm. Because that line is like so blurred of like what does it mean to be a upgraded deck or an optimized deck.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So why is 3 so wide? Why do you think?
Why is 3 so wide? I mean, I think it's partially because of their definitions and like their lack of it's a weird thing because it's actually a mix of lack of definition paired with too much definition, which sounds weird, but it's just like they're like the things that they've brought up to like define it and make it like between tier 3 and tier 4. I don't think actually change the power of a deck. Are there better ways of doing this? I think so. I think actually doing something where you're like, I think there could be more specific rules behind it. Like one thing that I was talking about, we talk about often like adding your veggies and stuff like that, like eating your veggies for your deck and when you're building it. I think finding a balance, like finding a number of those, like, hey, this deck has so many win cons, this thing has so many board wipes, this thing has so many that. Like I think actually defining something around that might help it. And I understand that that's not completely true because there are like there's different cards, right? Like not all board wipes are the same. There are board wipes that are like rated like S tier, right? That you run like every time. There are some really bad ones that are D tier. If you, this is another big one that I'm just asking for big undertakings, but if you could grade all cards and then have it based on that, that'd be great.
I think that's the thing. I think the thing that is coming up here a lot is seeing a similar pattern. Is like Magic is just so expansive, so massive. I mean, it's a 30-plus-year-old game. There's so many cards in the game. There's so many different synergies and interactions that it's like it's almost too hard to just like say, all these, this is how you build a bracket 3 deck, and it's like, well, I don't know, with different swaps in and out and different synergies, it's like things get a little messy really quick.
Yeah, I think that's fair, and I think that's part of the reason why they need like more brackets than just like 3 and 4 and 5. Like, I do like, even though every deck became a 7 last time, I don't think that that's true. I don't think that every deck that was played was a 7. I think there are clear differences between those styles of decks.
Yeah, and I think it's just the every deck's a 7 was just kind of, it's more of a meme that players also just kind of have a bad time rating their own deck, the power level of their, not necessarily a flaw in what the power level discussion is necessarily, but
and that's something where even if you do like, so first of all, I do think game changers if you're going to make a better bracket system, I think it does require changing game changers, whether it's adding different types or whatever, because like we talked about in the last episode too, having Force of Will be on the same game changing list as a Consecrated Sphinx, those are very different types of cards. And I get it, like they
accomplish very different things.
But there's like win cons and other stuff that are in there, but like it feels like Consecrated Sphinx is like what late game draw power that powerful that it's gonna make you like, I don't know, that's gonna win the game or something. It's a weird, I don't know, it's a weird thing, and I feel like game changers should be more defined to actually like just lock in and actually be able to make those brackets. And I think having 10 brackets and actually making the game, like if you define what game changers are, have different versions of them, you have 10 brackets, and you actually define how many number of each like types of game changers are allowed, Something like that might work. Whether you do it like
I also
interaction.
I think I agree with you with like the game changers list. It's just too broad. It's like, oh, we're just gonna throw a bunch of cards on here, and these are cards that you got to look out for. Boom, done. It feels like kind of lazy almost, and I agree with you. I think there should be some sort of tiering at least. Like categorizing would be probably ideal, but at least like give us tiers of stuff. Like say like this is kind of like whatever. Like for example, tutors. I mean, tutors are great. They make decks faster, but like what you're tutoring for matters, and also like player skill matters a lot in that. Like if you just give like a new player who's played the game for 2 weeks and you give them a deck with tutors in it, like they don't know what to tutor for. Like what?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I gotta grab this like 8 cost like creature that is meant to be played from the graveyard or something. They're like, yeah, let me put that in my hand.
Yeah, and I mean, like you're exactly right with tutors. Like, is demonic tutor the same as a fetch land? No.
Yeah,
but they're both tutors. And I think it doesn't include that. Does it actually count those
fetch lands?
as
I don't
tutors?
think are on the game changer though. I think demonic tutor is specifically a game changer, so it's a little different. But
no, but it does include. It separates tier 2 and tier 3, I guess, because few tutors.
Yeah, whereas
and then not having
3, they don't care how many tutors you have. Yeah, but if you have the game changer tutors, it's a little different.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's a big part for me. Is I think game changers are not done well. I think that is something that needs to be better defined of what they are, because this also needs to be defined on what like their rules are for what they're trying to balance the game around, because that's the whole thing. Like I believe what the old committee's like rules and what they wanted to do was balance the game for fun Magic, for a casual format. That was their goal. Whether you agree with what they did was going to actually do that, that was their goal to do it. So this new Commander Rules Committee that we have that's official from Wizards of the Coast, at least I don't think really has a statement on that, or they haven't like really said, or like they're like kind of towards casual. I might be wrong on that one, but
yeah, they didn't really say. I mean, the bracket system. Again, they posted the thing like 5 months ago, so I don't really even remember. Maybe they said they probably said it in that article of like what the real purpose of it is, but yeah,
I don't know. I don't see the vision behind it, and I wish I did. I wish there was more criteria on making something, and I understand they want to keep it broad because they want to be able to change it and keep it flexible, but I don't see a reason why being more clear, especially in the beta and everything like that with this right now, where it's supposed to be just open to more like interpretation. It's supposed to be used as a beta. It's supposed to be critiqued.
And it's supposed to be, nice I think it's supposed to be as like a rule zero conversation. I think they mentioned that in that article as well. But
yes,
that's also kind of, in my opinion, that's kind of like a lazy cop out to not flesh this out. Like,
well, I think it could be a more well-defined rule zero conversation.
Yeah, exactly. I think so too. But like, in my opinion, when they say something like that, it gives them leeway to not get it out of beta, and not flesh this out more. It's almost like, well, this is just open for interpretation, and it's,
yeah. They did say that it was for like, it's not for the people who've been playing a long time with the same group. It's for new players doing this, so they have to make it easily digestible, which I get. But I also, I don't know. I feel like
if it's for new players, this is tragic.
Yes, I feel like it could be a teaching thing too. Like it could be there to show you like how this is how a powerful deck should feel. Like, and again, I'm just going back to this. This is going to be my thing for this. Is I just think precons should define what is in the bracket system. I think that should be what it is, because if you can actually give somebody opportunity,
I think that's probably the best way to fix the bracket system, because that's such a good opportunity for them. Like, release premium product. Like they love doing the whole premium product thing nowadays. Like, they're releasing all these collector versions, these tiered things, and the gift bundles, and
think about it. You don't even have to just do one version of the commander deck. You could do a premium version of each one. So those tier 5 premium,
and they could bring back the proxy printing. Like if they wanted to do a CDH bracket 5 like type thing, they could be like, here's a bona fide CEDH deck that won this tournament last month or something, but it's a proxied version, because they can't actually reprint on like some of those cards like Mox Diamond and all that. But
no, I love that. I would absolutely love if they did something like that. And I think that they're like, it's one of those things that I get. It's like, can be like setting them up for a little bit of greed with being able to charge more for commander decks too and everything. But I think
take my money.
Be so helpful. Yeah, I really like.
I would
love
buy
to be
into that.
able to buy a CEDH like that proxied like CEDH list and be able to bring that. Whether you bring it to a table or you just have your group of friends buy CEDH. We've been talking for a while about proxying CEDH decks to play those. Like we would have just bought them by now and just played them.
Instead of spending $120, $150 on the whole full proxy deck from a third party source, Wizards of the Coast, you could sell it to us for $119.99. You know.
Yeah, no, I would love that if they did something like that, because it's also one of those things. It is supposed to be for new players. It is supposed to help them be able to figure out how they can fit into play the game, what the different like levels of the game feel like. The perfect way to do that would be, here's this deck. It's a tier 4 precon. It's official. Here you go. Go ahead and play it. The bracket 4 precon. Now you can see what bracket 4 is like.
Yeah, it would also just, I think it would ease a lot of tension too at local game stores when, you know, you have casual commander nights and people don't know necessarily what their bracket's playing in, and all these people saying, "Oh, my deck's a bracket 4," and they're playing my deck's a bracket 2 and I'm playing a bracket 4 deck essentially in a bracket 2 table. It's like, well, no, the precon says bracket 4, and if it pops off really unusually, like, hey man, blame Wizards of the Coast. You know, I didn't know. I thought it was a bracket 4.
Yeah,
and it kind of brings up the tension a little bit. You know, people don't they can't be personally taxed for that. You know.
And that is something that's like a little bit of a devil's advocate to bring up for the bracket system and everything too, is that it is the feel of it being unfair, of it being like a bracket 4 is too, like, oh, you said it was bracket 3 but you won on this turn, like whatever, like the feel of that is actually not maybe as correct as it feels, because there is a, like, you know, if you're at a table with all decks that are completely equal with yours, you should be winning 25% of the games.
Yep.
Are you happy with the 25% win rate when you're playing League of Legends, Nick? Are you happy with the 25% win rate?
Oh, I would not. I would just delete that account.
Yeah. See, so that's like what I'm getting at, is it might feel like worse than it actually is. Like, that's, it's just not, I don't know, it's not quite like as winning feeling as like you'd think it would be. If you're at an even table, you'd think that you have a 50% win percentage, but that's not the case when you're playing a 4-player game. So
exactly. And maybe if they did that too, it would also help define their brackets. It's such a great idea. I think that's honestly one of the best, like that's probably the bullseye idea, is they should honestly be bracketing some precons, because like because it also will give people that idea that, okay, even though my deck might be a bracket 2, says on the box bracket 2, it still has, like, if I have the best hand this deck can actually run, I might actually be able to win on turn 4, turn 5, you know.
Yeah.
And that can happen. And, you know, it also shows players, like new players, it'll show new players that, like, even though your deck is a bracket 2, like, variance is a thing. You get a Soul Ring Arcane Signet opening hand with like a crazy, like one of the best cards in that precon. You can very well like pump some gas on the table and, you know, in a few turns. So
I'm getting fully convinced on this as well, where it's just like I keep thinking,
I think it's just the way,
and I just keep thinking of better things too. Like, because you're not only like you're giving people these decks to play at that are at like whatever level you want. Everyone gets to see what levels they play at, but then you're also like, not only that, but you're also able to introduce more cards into like the play system again. Like, right, where cards are expensive. Cards are ridiculously expensive. They reprint them to keep prices down. But, you know, there's no secondary market according to Wizards of the Coast, because they can't have that. They can't know that, because it's gambling then. So it's not. There's no secondary like market for the cards. But this gives you the opportunity to really reprint cards without having to worry about that, because you're just focused on building. You like it. Oh, bracket 4 has better cards in it.
Yeah.
Neat. It costs more because it's a bracket 4, not because it has better cards in it. It's just a bracket 4 deck. So I like that idea on like so many things. It helps the community so much. It also, like, I know they have people come in and like build those decks too, right? Like they have people that are, it's their job to build these precons. It'd be so nice to be able to include
smarter game designers than you and I doing that stuff.
But I mean, you could even include people from the CEDH community. Like, this is such a good community outreach thing for Wizards of the Coast if they were to do something like this, because you can really just have a lot more going on for the community and everything, where you're just including people. Yeah, it feels just a lot more inclusive and a lot more opportunity to get people to play the game. I don't know.
Yeah.
Feels like a really easy introduction to Magic.
I think it's an easy way to fix their bracket system slightly without doing too much to the brackets. Yeah. But they should probably also flesh the brackets out a little bit more.
I'd love it if they did.
Yeah.
And the Game Changers list. I'd be happy if they just did any of these. One of these things, I'd be pretty happy with if they actually made those changes. You can keep counting up, yeah. No, but the system's in beta. It's supposed to be adjusted. So I really do hope they actually come to it with more. I don't like the idea.
This thing just came out this year, didn't it? Right?
It did, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I have some confidence we might hear something by the end of the year. Sure. You know, something new updated on it, but I'm not holding my breath. But you know, I could see them coming out with something in November-ish or so, November near the end of the year when they start releasing the previews for next year. And
I think they're definitely letting it flush out a little bit, like in the community before they make any decisions on it. Mm-hmm. But I will say I do worry about like the community sentiment of, it's just like fine. Everything's a 3 out of 4, but that's okay. I don't love that mentality. I think that's a dangerous one because it doesn't do anything then. The whole point is to like define these decks and make it easier for people to know.
Because then we're just back to square one where we had the power level. Everyone's a 7. It's just another problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Make it a useful tool. Change it. Like give us more definitions. I think is really a powerful thing. But yeah, I mean, I think that's all I had for us. Do you have anything to add?
No, don't think so. Wizards, please give us some bracketed decks. That'd be so cool.
That'd be so nice.
Yeah, that's all I really have.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening. We've been the Etched Companion. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know if you guys think that those ideas are good. Would you guys buy any of those commander decks? Do you think we should have 10 brackets? Maybe power 9 brackets? Let us know.
I do like that. I like that idea. All right, guys. Bye.
Catch you later in the next one.